In her typically loving manner, she asked them to lie down, and after a few relaxing box breath inhalations and exhalations, she said, "Okay, I will tell you that story again. Should anything ever happen to us again in our planet, remotely similar to this, at least you will be in a better position to deal with it, given that knowledge is power." "Oh, thank you, Berta. We love you so, as you always tell us fascinating stories that no one else we know ever mentions." "Come on, surely your parents explained some of these things to you before, and if not them, perhaps your school teachers?" "It'd be so nice if that were true. Unfortunately, our parents are always busy and too involved in life in general. They are extremely loving, kind, compassionate, and generous to us and to everyone else for that matter. At the same time, they do not have the time to satisfy all of our questions because we're always so curious." "What about in some of your classes?" "We have our all year's lessons content given to us at the beginning of the year, and none of these amazing things you tell us ever comes up." "Please understand that I'm not saying these stories are true. Yet, should have been, there are certainly lessons to be learned, okay?" They nodded. "Well, we don't have much time for this today. I will simply just go into the short version of it. Bear in mind, this is not to scare the daylights of you. It's something people have been sharing with others in the event that similar things ever appear to be happening again. The best part is that no matter what, it's always a reminder to trust your intuition and where this will lead you, not to give your own inner power away, to follow your inner light and the path of least resistance, to move in the direction of your dreams, to trust in yourself and to love yourself over and above all else. When you do so, you cannot go wrong, especially in a world where honesty, mutual respect and care, balanced action and emotions, truthful intentions and creative and creative ideas then transform all good things and systems into even better ones. We are indeed so extremely lucky in our planet, as you well know. The key idea, after all is being said and done, is to maintain your energies high and positive, to be grateful for all your achievements, great or small as they may be, to have compassion for those who, for whatever reason, have yet to understand how they too can fit into a balanced world where self-love and self-respect, joy of living and good deeds are meaningful and rewarding in their own right. "Oh, you're so wise there again, but please, please, please do tell us that story now, as time is running short." And so Berta started. They were listening to her very attentively. You could only hear Berta's voice in an uninterrupted narration about the faraway lands of another galaxy in a different universe and at another timeline, where bad things seemed to happen very easily and people were not awake yet. Strange how two perfectly intelligent teenagers were getting that carried away into such an incredible story, repeated to them once more. They still needed the time to digest its details, of course, and above all to understand how such terrifying actions could take place within a planet where most people didn't even have an inkling about what was taking place around them. This must never happen again, not to them, not to their loved ones, nor to anyone else. In the beautiful planet, thankfully, life was not like that at all. People were very wise and serene, always there to share some good times and doing interesting activities alone or together. They did not even need to talk to each other, as life was that smooth and full of creativity, with plenty of blissful moments daily, that there was nothing they were not able to materialize when they really needed it. Duality no longer existed, but just light and well-being. Therefore, to have the ability to occasionally get such storytelling treats about different realities from Berta made them feel even happier and blissful with all their engagements and surroundings in their own home planet. They had already heard, for example, that artificial intelligence in many areas of their galaxies had already taken over people's hands-on experiences. They themselves at times had also come across the odd being from another planet who, despite being super intelligent and skillful, had no emotions. At those times, they counted their blessings again, as they knew they would live for hundreds of years like all their own people, and that at any 1 second they could naturally get to other dimensions simply by the power of their own thought and inner ability to teleport their bodies to wherever they desired. What they loved the best, moreover, was the fact that in their wisdom they could also act on the intuition of lesser wise beings by helping them reach higher energy frequencies. Everything is forever transforming and boundless. That much they had always known. As the result, there was not one boring moment in their lives. There were continuously so many choices available and so much to do in the ever-expanding universe. Gone were the days when their own very planet, similarly to the story Berta was about to share with them again, was living in darkness. At that very remote historic time, too many horrifying injustices had taken place. Far too many good people had lost their lives by blindly following what others, those in control, were incessantly demanding of them. There were secrets and mischief that separated those who had from the have-nots. At those historic times, in fact, the majority of people believed that they could not live happy, healthy, and extremely long lives practically from birth. As such was what they sadly heard practically from their very arrival on land. They trusted higher authorities for all their needs. They forgot their inner lights and their own magic contact to the divine energy that encompasses us all. In so doing, they were all educated according to higher authorities' choices and not by following their inner guidance nor their individual interests. They had got accustomed to rely more and more on gadgets and artificial stuff. In the end, trapped mostly at home where they daily were imagining a world of living creations that were simply being projected around them and not tangible, their weakened bodies became enslaved to foods laden with preservatives and chemicals. The planet got more and more polluted in the frenzy of so-called progress, and instead of enjoying the simple gifts of daily experiences in natural ways, they complicated their lot by moving faster and faster, listening more and more to their gadgets and their tragic news broadcast 24/7 until eventually the plague and a whole plethora of other horrible diseases took over their planet. It was around then that some of their lot, and as though by magic, eventually awoke from such an enslavement dreamlike matrix. They realized that if they abandoned bad foods and did more exercise by keeping their bodies healthy and by enjoying nature via meeting like-minded individuals with positive life attitudes and practices, they thrived and lived much better than their peers. They noticed that effortlessly, real enjoyment and inner peace came to them more abundantly. Above all, they realized that a great number of the stories around them made sense. Therefore, there was no need to fuel fear and anger. On the contrary, they felt a lot of compassion for leaders who had become soulless and money-driven, and for those who repeated, "Do as I say and do not do as I do," via their actions. They intimately and in the very heart sent those people heaps of light energy with the intention of enabling those other powerful men and women realize how little it really takes to change everything and to make it right again. They grew stronger and stronger in number, and as this happened, more and more of their fellows woke up and proactively uncovered over a great number of years the misdeeds of bygone times leading to their present moment, which eventually, but that's another story. So after the box breathing, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 1, 2, 3, 4 took place. Stella and Sole were ready for their treat. They knew they would feel strong emotions and above all, very sad at the same time. They looked forward to never allowing their beautiful and forever ascending civilization regress into such a similar very dark past. Berta went on. After the beginning of time, a faraway galaxy was created to sustain the giant beings that were connected to reptile-like creatures who had special dietary needs. As a great number of them did not enjoy nourishment simply coming from the air and water in their habitat, and another part of them did not enjoy vegetation as a staple diet, some of them, who were chosen to be meat eaters, were given a land where highly loving and intelligent beings were created to provide such nourishment. You see, the energy of life so freely available in all dimensions was, let us say, suppressed. The people who were born in this specific location were given precise knowledge in their schools and to their parents, who, when providing for their families' needs, did not have time for research in similar hobbies. In their heart of hearts, they were teaching the toddlers and kids all they knew with the best of intentions. But where do thoughts come from, really? As you know, my dear Stella and Sole, they come from the universe in your galaxy, and we are all just like antennas, picking up the frequencies according to our soul's development and experiences, as well as to our forward path. So, from the very start of life in the planet, there was something wrong. Many of these young children, while at their schooling, were finding that many things they heard and were being told about geography, history, religion, and the like just did not make sense. They felt unable to communicate with most of their peers. They felt uneasy to express their own views and to spend hours on mindless fun. Of course, they utterly enjoyed having good times, yet not by backstabbing young friends with gossip, swear words, recriminations, shouting, fighting, and the like. To them, such behaviors were hurtful and unkind, and it did not make any sense either. These sensitive kids were often closer to their toys and pets than to their families, and at times their nature made them cry alone for hours on end, while at other times they too reacted in ways they themselves did not like, such as by throwing a tantrum or the like. All these bad reactions were natural ways for the inner steam to get out and for them not to get caught up in trapped energy. Some of them became fiercely independent at a very young age and left home to provide for themselves. If they were lucky, they would find good company, and together they created positive and win-win solutions for themselves and their society. If unlucky, they met rebellious friends and got themselves in all sorts of trouble. There were also those who, after many life challenges that were good and bad, dangerous and innocent, eventually found their path to redemption and a healthy and serene lifestyle. Needless to say, what made any of them really at peace inside was when their intuition brought them towards their goals. They had a little radar they discovered that led them along that famous, less resistant path I reminded you of earlier on. Sole and Stella were pending from Berta's lips, their bodies stretched on couches. That's what I thought.